done and over with. I'm sure, it's not the first time it has happened. Hillary really wasn't a peach either when it comes into regards of, being corrupt and whatnot. But I think Trump has done one thing, and he's mixed up politics quite a bit. He's changed the game for sure. He's definitely not a polished politician by any means. But I think at the end of the day, it's what the country needed. It needed to get rocked up a little bit. For too long, we've just been run by the establishment, so it's good to get an outsider in there. Whether or not if he wins in 2020, I don't know. That's up to the American people to decide. But I do know that if the Democrats are going to win, they're going to have to find somebody to give Trump, give it back to Trump. And at this point in time, I don't know if there's anybody out there that can.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to be really interesting too. Of course, we're getting back to some of the guests as well too. You've had John Burke, an Army veteran who is an advocate for the veteran community. He's been deployed overseas multiple times, and of course, he's also been on your program as well too. And he sounds like an amazing individual. You can tell us a little about him.
He's definitely a character. He has, and he openly admits it. He has people that love him, and he has people that hate him, and that includes veterans. Being a veteran himself, he calls out other veterans for different things that he doesn't agree with, or the way that a situation was handled by a veteran. He's very, I think with John, he has his platform because he's not afraid to say what he's thinking. Mm-hmm. And, he doesn't sugarcoat anything. He'll come out at you hard and fast. And he's a very good debater. Super nice guy. He actually, when we talk to him, because, what's funny is when you interview people, you see a little bit of a different, you see, their show side, or, the image that they put out to people, because not everybody is like Sully and I, or you, Mike, that we're us when we're on our show. They put on a little bit of a persona and character. And most of the people that we've interviewed, Bob Menery, Perez Hilton, Combat Barbie she was the same. John Burke, all these guys, EJ Snyder, they're super, super nice people, very down to earth, very well educated, and it shows. There's a reason why they're as big as they are in the mediums and media that they're in, because they know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. We look at it sometimes as outsiders, like, who is this fool? Like, this guy is just crazy, he just rants all the time, or he all he does is pick on people, or this, that, and the other thing. And it, really, when you dissect it, it's a character. It's a game. And we found that with John a little bit. He's a super nice guy off the radio, but he is definitely that type of person still. He doesn't change up too much. The Combat Barbie is sweet as all get out. That woman is probably one of the nicest people I've ever had the privilege of meeting. She is not only smoking hot and that, but man, she is just the nicest person. That is not fake. When she is on her Instagram and social media, that is her. That is how she is. Bob Menery was hilarious. He was great to have on. We had him on in our early stages. So right when we first started, we were actually still doing Facebook Live episodes at that point. Mm-hmm. And, he only had like 300 or 400,000 people on Instagram. And I say only because that's still a lot of people, but he's up to over 1.5 million now.
1.5 million? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So we had him on way before his rise to fame, quote unquote, or during his rise to fame. Mm-hmm. Perez Hilton was great. He came on quick. He didn't stay the whole show. He's popped in for about 20 minutes with us to do like a year-end roundup for Celebrity Gossip in 2018, and then what he envisioned 2019. EJ Snyder was great because, with him, he is a badass. That guy, if I was ever lost in the woods, I definitely would want him with me. That guy knows.
We actually interviewed him during a hurricane.
Yes, we did. That's right.
Yeah, that's how badass he is.
Oh my gosh!
In the middle of a hurricane and doing an interview with us.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I forgot about that. He's like, yeah, I'm contacting him the day before. I'm like, hey, EJ, you still good to go? I know you got the hurricane. He's like, oh yeah, I'm good. In his raspy voice. He's like, yeah, I might not have power, but I still got my phone or whatever. We could get this done. I'm like, all right. He's like, I'm good. So he's probably got like an underground bunker in North Carolina or something. But yeah, connecting with these people has been a great experience, and kind of what Sully touched on a little bit earlier. I think being firefighters has really helped us branch out to people regardless of their social stature. And for the best term I can put it in non-disrespectful way, I don't care if somebody has 12 million followers on Instagram or if they have one. I'll talk to them, Sully and I will talk to them both the same. We'll treat them the same, and we don't really get nervous about talking to them. I mean, I don't know if it's where we're born and raised or what, but it's just not, I sat next to Ashton Kutcher on an airplane once and didn't even say hi to him because he was reading script and that was his deal. I didn't want to interrupt him. So There you go, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's been cool. I can say that. To meet some of these bigger names has been an awesome experience, and both of us are truly grateful to have had that opportunity to talk with some of these people and get a little bit more of an inside look into their lives and project that out to our listeners.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like you pretty much have as well, too, that, the big celebrities are just regular people. And, of course, if I'm correct, a lot of the people that you meet, no matter what stature, all have a job to do. You get up, you go do your job, you get paid, you come home to your family or go out with friends, come home, hug your pets, or just sit down in an easy chair and just have a drink, watch TV, and then everybody just goes to bed and then goes about the next day. So that's what it sounds like with your podcast as well, too. And, of course, even with some of the smoking hot people you're talking about, like Rachel Barley, and then you also got, I'm trying to scroll through my iPad here, it's kind of waking up, needs coffee, Harmony Maurice, I need the coffee too. Black Rifle, anybody? Yeah. Thank you. Felicia Taylor, and of course, many, many more. Kenna James, the stripper comedian. I've never heard of that, but they're just regular people, just doing a job just to make money, and also being a regular person off the air as well.
Yeah,
I think that's the big thing is, everybody's got a story to tell. And if we can give somebody that platform and in the process make people laugh and forget about their terrible day, or, if they just need a good laugh or some place to go just to veg out, I think we're happy to provide that for them.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you also have a doctor as well, too, on your program, Dr. Anish Sheth. He made appearances on the Rachel Ray Show, and the doctors is experienced gastroenterologist with extensive knowledge, and you can just tell a little bit about him in terms of health. That's a really good idea.
He was awesome. He was an awesome guest. Super nice. His publicist was amazing to deal with, which I've had to deal with a bunch of publicists now. He was great. We named that show the Poop Show, I think, or something like that.
or who gives a crap? Yeah.
right, exactly. So I didn't use that. I didn't use that as a title because I didn't want Google like kicking us down, going, "No, I'm not going to show that to anybody." But he was on the Rachel Ray Show. He was on the Doctors. He's been in the media. He was great. He was so down to earth, and you think of a doctor as very stoic and very proper, and while he has a very light side to him. I can sit down with two dudes like Sully and myself, and we had just an amazing conversation with him. It was great. So, going back to what I originally said, here we got this doctor who's been on in the media and on big shows like The Doctors and Rachel Ray. And then a couple episodes later, we had Kenna James on with us, and Kenna James is a huge adult film star, and she was great too, and she talks a lot on our shows about. She's been on 2 episodes now with us about how she's a normal person just like you or I.
Mm-hmm.
And she just has a different job where she has sex for a living, and that's what she does. And it's funny to hear her say that. In others, Harmony Marquise is a starlet, is what they call the new porn stars.
Mm-hmm.
But they have normal lives. They have to do laundry. They have to, most of them have to mow their lawns and take care of their houses, and some of them even have kids that you don't know of because they don't put them on social media.
Right, that makes sense.
So they have stuff to do and they have lives. So that's where Sully and I and Crystal bring that to light for our listeners. Like, hey, you know what? I can relate to Kenna James. She's this super beautiful blonde porn star that's turning and budding into a mega porn star, and she's normal. She's normal just like you or I. She just does a different job. And it kind of, a lot of those, I think in society, we tend to prejudge a lot of that stuff. And hopefully we can break down that barrier a little bit on How About Halos and give them, the listeners the insight into these people's lives.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a really good thing too. And of course, I'm sure many people would like to be on your show too. And of course, I wouldn't mind as well too. And before we wrap up here, we know you guys are very busy, and I don't hear a call yet to wanting to save a kitty or something. Or what inspired you guys to be a firefighter or a first responder in the first place? What was your defining moment?
So when I was, nobody in my family was a firefighter. I'm first generation. I was 13 years old and had a friend that was in the junior firefighter program through our local volunteer fire department. So I got in because he was in, and just grew a love for it from there. I started when I was 14 years old, and when I was 18, I got into the volunteer fire department. When I was 26, I got hired as a career firefighter. And I'm 40 with 14 years on, and, just making the life of it. We call it living the dream, quote unquote. And that's what it is. I mean, it's not very often nowadays that you hear people say and talk about how they love going to their job. And firefighting is one of those jobs. You can go into work every day and you absolutely love your job. So.
Yeah, that sounds like what you guys do as well. And what do you think is like the most heroic moment that you guys have done? Of course, not for bragging purposes or anything. Like, what's the most heroic moment that has stood out in your minds in your career?
For me in particular, I've had the one opportunity, and it's very seldom that it happens, believe it or not. I mean, a lot of people are predisposed to TV shows and movies of rescuing somebody out of a fire. And I had one person that I've rescued out of a fire, and unfortunately she ended up passing at the hospital. But that was probably the best feeling I've had in my career. I mean, there's been others, and there's been other times where we've had a CPR save or something like that. But actually saving somebody out of a house fire is relatively low percentage, or it's low frequency. It doesn't happen as much as people in society would like to think. So that, for me, that was probably so far what's defined my career. We all live, we join the fire service for the brotherhood, the camaraderie, the helping our communities, saving lives and property. But that's kind of like the one thing that every firefighter hopes to do at some point in their career, is to go into a burning building and actually save a life.
And then, Sully, how about you as well?
I don't really have any specific moments. It's just, it's just one of those things where every time you go to work, you don't know